Let's go!
The first rookie quarterback to go and win on the road in more than a decade in his first NFL postseason start. How does that feel?
It's nothing but a blessing.
Jayden Daniels. This is not a shock for anyone that's actually watched him this year, all the way back to LSU Commanders Nation. This is an absolute dot. And at LSU, he was one of the best vertical deep ball throwers in his Heisman Trophy season. Obviously, him and Terry have actually missed quite a few, but look at that ball location. Oh, are you freaking kidding me? And, man, look at that. Boom. Now, let's just go ahead and give you this other angle. Look at that. Look at that. The coverage is not bad, but a perfect throw will beat good coverage all day, every freaking day. Let's go, JD5. I honestly think this play says a lot about Jayden, even though you don't pick up this 4th and 2. And you hear excuses all the time for quarterbacks. Well, the offensive line isn't that great. The offensive tackles aren't great. Well, you'll see here that there is a lot of edge pressure on both sides. We know 74 Coleman, the rookie, has had an absolutely brutal season. And Jayden is still able to overcome it. Now, you're not able to pick up this first down here, running, some traffic routes to get Austin Ekeler. Even if it's completed, he's getting destroyed, and turnover on down. Jayden Daniels just doesn't make sense, y'all. He just doesn't. He is not human, all right? So Kalijah Kancey gets a little chip right here. That was actually a good chip from Luke McCaffrey, but there's just so much pressure yet again from the left side. So Jayden has to find a way around Kancey, who will have Jayden Daniels nightmares, and just flings this football up to Austin Ekeler on this 3rd and 6. I said Austin Ekeler. Our guy Zach Ertz right there. Kind of a quiet night for Zach, and you do pick up the first down. So in the NFL, you can't go past a yard on these RPOs, and a big one was taken away later in this game. Right here, maybe that could have been called past a yard right here for the offensive line. It looks like he's right at the yard. Illegal man downfield, I think in the NFL you should get a 2-yard grace period because 1 is very extreme. 3rd and Capitol Heights, you've got to get this football into the end zone. Well, you don't have to. You can get it close and go for it on 4th, but right here, Jayden gets the whole shebang. Now, this is a mistake, I feel, defensively from Tampa. All right, first off, it doesn't help that Dyami lost his footing, but if you're only rushing 4 and it's a slower 4, 2 defensive ends, a run-stuffing nose, and a pass-rushing DT, Jayden is just going to buy so much freaking time, and he's able to do that here. Dyami Brown gets wide open. There's a coverage bust, and he scores. Right, man, this was probably my favorite Kliff call of the night. I can't wait to look at the all 22 of this. First play of the second half. Let's give Jayden something to really work with here. So you get a motion right here to the right side, and you're having all vertical routes, and if it's not open, just hit the split zone right here from OZ, right? I kept calling him Oz. I learned that he doesn't like to be called Oz, and he's in the flat right here. Jayden doesn't like anything vertical, so you get an easy throw that is difficult for the DBs to pick up, right? And look at all this space for a really good ball carrier after the catch. And you'll see right here, Winfield's one of the best safeties in the NFL. Oz is able to pick up a good 8-ish yards on him. And these are the kinds of plays that gives a defensive coordinator nightmares, okay? So you back out after crowding the line of scrimmage. You get a very delayed play action fake right here. And guess what? Really good pass protection right there from B-Rob to help pick up that DT. And Jayden is able to outrun Vita Vea and find an open receiver down the field. And guess what? Is Dyami Brown again for a huge explosive gain. Wow. Then Kliff decides to get sexy. So overload formation, the Ravens are starting to do this quite a bit. Well, actually, they have been doing it all season. Quick fake pitch to the left, and it's actually a screen to the right, and you get the perfect look against it, right? 2 blitzers coming off the edge right here, and guess what? Brown with space to operate. You need a really good block right here. 27 loses contained, so that's even better. And Brown does a good job reading it. And look at what he does right here. He cuts back on him and almost scores this for a career day in a playoff game. What a freaking catch and run. I think one area where Kliff has just dominated people is bringing heavy personnel onto the field and going deep. Look at all these players the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have in this box. So you have 5 guys on the line of scrimmage and 3, and then you have a roast 'em up matchup here with Terry McLaurin, run a vertical to hold the safety deep over behind it. It's just a tale as old as time, right? Some people call this, I believe, Yankee. And guess what? If you get good protection like you actually get here, you give Jayden time to actually get this throw right here to Terry McLaurin. What a throw. What a really good catch. That's very interesting about all these teams in the NFL playoffs is all of them have really good tight ends. And Zach Ertz is really good. 4th and 5, you got to have it. Man-to-man, Jayden Daniels likes the matchup here and throws an absolute dart to, when it comes to going over the middle, how many tight ends have you ever seen better than Zach Ertz? There's just not that many. What a big throw. What a big catch. 4th and goal. And this is very interesting. If I were Jayden, all right, 4th and goal. This is very interesting. Okay, so you snap the football with 1 second on the play clock. I'm not a big fan of this. I'm telling you right now, this route concept is probably the most overrated in the NFL when you run a vertical and you run something behind it. And the goal here is for Terry McLaurin to run through here and OZ run here. Okay, so this is the man beater, and Jayden sees that this is zoned. Even if it is man, though, DBs have gotten so good at passing all of this off. So this is the zone beater side, and they're just running a bunch of stick routes with the little out right here. And your hope is that Zach Ertz is running a corner right here. And honestly, if you're going to throw this, the ball needs to be out now, okay? But Ertz wasn't looking. I would have liked to have seen Zach turn a little bit quicker and look for the ball right now. It looks like Jayden is ready to rip it, but he keeps running this route through this second window, and I'm thinking Jayden probably thought he was looking right here. Either way, it was bang on a pass interference. They didn't call it, and maybe it was designed for him to just go through here the entire way, but still, good defense. So the good news is Baker Mayfield fumbles, and we get to this 4th and 2. What a freaking play by Jayden Daniels. So Kliff Kingsbury says, look, we're going to run trips to one side and just get Terry McLaurin to the backside. And you'll see that Jayden actually starts off looking to the right, as he should, because there's 2 guys over here on Terry McLaurin. So that means there's going to be less guys over here, more than likely, to guard these 3. All right, so we pick it up here from the end zone. Jayden starts off looking right. He doesn't like anything. I want you to see this ball, though, to the left. All right, he looks to see if Austin Ekeler's open. No. Antoine Winfield, feet on the goal line here. So Jayden waits for the second window to rip. Footwork is fine. There's a guy right in his face. And look at that ball, man. Look at that ball. Bang. Good freaking stuff, baby. So good in this game. He really was. The only reason this play got off is because there was a chip right here from Zach Ertz. All right, so that little chip slows Dyami down enough. Coleman gets beat. You see he's leaning right here. And Jayden, once again, guys in his face, is still able to deliver this football on to Dyami Brown. And, normally when you see spacing like this, it's not really that good. But sometimes I don't mind it if they're stacked, right? It's just that much harder to guard 2 guys if they are that close. So once again, I don't have the all-22 to really see it. But, man, what a throw. What a catch. Look at that. Bang. All right, to win in the playoffs, you just got to get lucky. And Dyami almost makes the play of the NFL playoffs. Okay? This is a little delay play. All right? So the LSU Tigers actually ran this a ton. You're running 2 verticals here, and you have a wheel from the running back and a leak from OZ. And normally when LSU runs this play, one of these is open. Normally it's the leak. It was Jason Taylor's son, Mason, who would normally catch it, and he was a tight end. So they're actually doing it with the receiver, and Jayden sees that Austin Ekeler has a ton of space, and he's been so used to Dyami just flying off the edge. This time, Dyami sees the running back leaking, and he goes out with him, right? He might have had man coverage on the running back because Levante David, of course, is blitzing. And look at that. Bang. Okay, he was right there to pick it. Jayden kind of sort of back shoulders it. And Austin Ekeler, when he's actually had the football in his hands, has been really good this season. He makes Dyami miss, and this ends up being a huge, huge game. John Mayer once had a song called Gravity, all right? And that word is actually used quite a bit in football, all right? So what does gravity actually mean? Well, it means how much energy do you draw from defenders, all right? And honestly, it can work in offense, right? Aaron Donald had a lot of gravity because he drew a lot of double teams. There's no player in the NFL that's drawing more gravity right now than Jayden Daniels. And it's so important, even more so than Lamar, because he's got, Derrick Henry, Mark Andrews, and probably an overall better supporting cast. So take a look at what actually happens here. There's an offsides right here. I think Kancey had a big offsides in another game. I don't really know. But what happens here is Kancey guesses. So his gap is supposed to be right here. But he's thinking that Jayden Daniels is going to pull it and go to the right side. The problem with that, if you're Kancey, is 98 has contained responsibilities here on Jayden. Okay, so they both go to Jayden Daniels, and it leaves an open hole for Austin Ekeler to run through, and he does exactly that. To be honest, I am perfectly fine when it comes to a superstar dual threat mobile quarterback in the playoffs. You play the quarterback every time, all right? Because more than likely he's going to keep it, especially on the 3rd and 1. It drives me crazy when Patrick Mahomes pulls it and the Bosa brothers continue to crash down. So Kancey this time guesses right. He's right here to make the play, and he can only pull Jayden Daniels' flag, if you will. He's holding his towel, and he's still holding it. I'm shocked he just didn't drop it, and Jayden is able to pick up this first down. Here's the thing. If you've watched Jayden Daniels all season long, you knew he was going to make this first guy miss. Y'all, this is a superhuman play. These are the plays that Lamar Jackson makes. And if you want to see Lamar Jackson, we just did a playoff film study on him. That video will be floating in your face here in just a second. But, y'all, I know I did this before the season. All right, so this is not revisionist history. I said Jayden Daniels was going to be the best quarterback in the NFC. I always in the playoffs like to fade teams that have coordinators who are getting head coach interviews. Now, the Commanders obviously have Kliff Kingsbury. I don't think Kliff Kingsbury is going to be hired this cycle, and I also think there's a piece of Kliff that doesn't want to leave Jayden after just one season. But we do know for near certainty that the Lions coordinators, both of them, have been obviously being interviewed, and they're going to be head coaches next season, both to be distracted. So I am going with the Washington Commanders to pull off the upset versus the Lions to face the Philadelphia Eagles. And I actually predicted this before the playoffs started as well. Bang, that playoff prediction is floating right here. And I do think it'll be Commanders and Eagles to go to the Super Bowl. And if you want to see the prediction of that game, you can watch it right there.